Alright, so it's a chilly November day in Marquette, Michigan, and we're going to check out this sunken greenhouse. So we've got a living roof on the back, and it's kind of built into a hillside on this north wall. A little bit of grading and landscaping left to do for sure. But if we look over here, we've got the air intakes for the geothermal system. So there's two of these 4-inch tubes that go about 90 feet underground here. It's 5 or 6 foot down before it comes into the structure. A little bit more of the living roof on either side of the south end, and this insulation goes down about 5 feet, and it's protecting a wooden foundation, untreated, well, charred, and it also comes out 4 feet and does a pretty good job of insulating the ground because I'm making use of an earth battery system. And so got cork cladding on the outside, 2 inches thick, along with some local hemlock, which I charred. Now the top window's only open, so when it gets hot in the summer, be able to get a nice draft coming through there. And these bottom windows are all reclaimed. Got the workstation here, trying to get that cleaned up today. Shouldn't need it anymore. And then here's the entryway path. Get some creeping time in there once the weather changes. And yeah, we get out of wind because it is cold. And so as we head in here, you see there's a little vent because it is pressurized with the geothermal system, so the air's got to come out somewhere. And underneath this pathway, there's a whole soak pit system to collect any storm water that comes down here before it comes into the greenhouse. When we come in, we've got an aquaponics system because just using water as a heat sink seemed like a waste of space. So we got some bluegill, crayfish, and snails in there, and then we're growing some stuff in that top box. Now this box is connected to the water jacket on the wood stove, and so it helps keep things warm. Got a few things growing back in here, and then just like outside, there'll be creeping time in between the bricks here. And so the ultimate goal is to grow citrus. And so this is a prototype for that. And we got a blood orange down there, and a guava, and a fig. But the idea is to get citrus going here in the north, and to do that in a way that doesn't need much energy at all. So we're, not going for anything tropical yet, but one step at a time. And so this, table is actually structural, so it's helping to hold back the ground outside because we're below grade here. We've got a cedar base plate, but the rest is hemlock, and again backed by a layer of plastic and then insulation to keep out the moisture. So this is the north wall. Got the water jacket, wood stove set up, again using as much reclaimed material as possible. And back here, this is the ventilation system. So this is where the geothermal comes in. It is pretty well insulated for sound, so it's coming in at a constant 50 degrees here at the end of November. And there's a second fan that pulls in hot air from up here, and it moves it all the way around the perimeter of the greenhouse, to make use of that earth battery system. And so this insulation goes down another 2 feet, and it's a double wall. So we kind of minimize the concrete in here. We've got some pads that it's anchored to, but then the rest is just pea gravel. And now there's this wasted space just on the other side of these boards. And to try to make it useful, I ran a bunch of tubing, just like drip irrigation tubing that comes in here and it comes down on either side, and again around the perimeter, buried down deep, and same thing on the other side. And then it feeds into these old well tanks that are hiding under here. And the idea is that when it gets warm and the sun's shining on it, the pumps will turn on, bring water through it, bring that heat into the tank to kind of slowly release throughout the night. And that's all automated, just like the rest of this stuff. And so the geothermal system can bump up when needed, and it turns on, this other fan turns on automatically when it gets warm enough in here to bring that heat down. So I don't know about this tropical stuff. We'll give it a go and just see what happens, but I figure being close to the heat source can't hurt. And there's kind of a secondary heat source here too, just in case we're on vacation or it gets really cold out, and that's all automatic as well. And then the pump here turns on automatically when there's heat in the wood stove, and it circulates water through here to heat up this tank of fish. So we go in there. So we're going to test out a lot of this stuff, and we'll see how the bees do in here, because you know the winters are harsh, and so they died outside, and so trying to give them something that's a little bit more like Italy and see if it gets them through the winter. Humidity is definitely a concern there, but we'll see how that all turns out. And then whatever works or doesn't work, we'll make adjustments and we can expand it, and then see if we can really get some citrus growing here. And you know, 'cause there's plenty of light coming in, and we'll see how it all pans out.